Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my basement workshop. Today we're talking about kitchen scraps, phase 3. So you've selected your kitchen scraps, you cut the ends off, you set them in water for a week or two to see if they're going to grow roots and check to see if they're viable. And now you've got roots and you've got growth. What do you do next? That's what we're doing today. If we have not met yet, my name is Quincy Adams, and I want to help you grow some of your own food in a small space on a budget. Let's get started. Okay, so what I've got here is a collection of kitchen scraps that are in various stages of good to not good. And so I want to plant some of them and show you what things you should be looking for to figure out if they're good or if they're bad, and if they can be saved, if they can't be saved. So I am going to stand up. You're not going to see my face for the rest of this. You're just going to see my hands, and you're going to see the scraps in the containers, and you're going to see the fabric bags that I'm planting them in. All right, let's get started. All right, let's adjust this a little bit. Okay. Let's, okay. Okay. So here's what we got. The first things we're going to look at are this little container right here. And I purposefully let some of these like go a little bit past where they should be so I could show you guys examples of what they look like when they're bad and when they're good. So this one right here, this is bok choy. So as you can see, this has grown a lot of roots. But if you look at the top, it looks a little sad and yellow. It needs some nutrients, and it's starting to, the texture of the leaves is starting to change. It's starting to get a little bit soft, but it's still good. And if you look at the sides, let's see. You can see that there's not mold. I'm squeezing it. There's a little bit of give over here. So this part needs to get pulled off. So if it gets squishy, then those parts need to be cleaned off. So you can see in here, there's squishiness, but the bottom part where the roots are it's still hard. So this is still probably viable, but we're gonna watch it and we're gonna peel off all the nastiness. You do not want to cut this part because you're gonna be cutting into or close to the area that is still growing. So see how that part in there is gross? Should have been an extra dirty cup down here. Dirty cup. We are going to evict this from this container, and then all the dirtiness is going in here. You guys can't see that. So what I'm going to do before I plant this, because there is some rotting on it, is I'm going to use my, this side, favorite garden hack, and I'm going to clean it with some peroxide. So I'm just going to, oh, you guys cannot see that. Let's do it like this. So I'm just going to squirt this in here, and it's going to foam up a little bit. We're going to scrape out all the nastiness, but we are not going to cut it. So this is a maybe, but it grew good roots. Another thing you want to check is the bottom where the roots are coming out. You want to make sure that this part right here is still firm. Sometimes it can get moldy in the middle, and if it gets moldy in the middle, it's not viable. So now that we've got this semi-cleaned, we're going to plant this. And we're just going to make a little hole, get the roots in here, and press this down so that the top of the cup part of the bok choy is even with the surface of the soil. And we're going to move our dirty cup and we're going to check the next one. So this right here is a parsnip. It looks a little bit like a carrot, but the leaves are different. And as you can see this part in the center? This is the part where it would, if it got moldy right here, this would be bad, but it has not gotten moldy. And it's got roots on the side, so this is a good example. So this one's getting planted. So this one, we're just making a little hole in the soil. We're setting it down in there. And on this one, we're going to cover it up right to the top. This right here, this is a radish. This is actually just it's a big radish. As you can see, nothing grew from the very top. It's not moldy or soft on the bottom. There's no new roots. So this one is a maybe, but this one might not be viable. This is a radish. So you got leaves at the top. There are no roots coming from the bottom. The middle is not soft or mushy. None of this is. So we're going to go ahead and plant this one anyway. And we're just going to cover it right up to, so like the greens are coming up out of the soil. And the bottom's covered. Oh. And this other radish, when I went to go pick it up by the leaves pulled off. So this is a bad one. So if it's, oh, and it's also squishy on the bottom. So there's a big, soft, squishy part on the bottom. That means this one is not good. Let me set that aside. And then let's look at, got some carrots in here. This is an orange carrot. This one's got a lot of growth on it. It's got roots. And the bottom is not squishy, so this one is good. This one gets planted. Just making a little hole. We're burying it up to the greens. Let's see. This carrot, this one has grown roots on the sides. There's been, there was no growth at the top. There is squishiness at the top. Let's see. It goes down into the core. So the bottom is not squishy, but the top is. Let's see if we can clean that out a little bit and see how deep that rock goes. All right, so see how this has gone pretty deep. I just scraped out the nasty bit. You do not want to cut this. You just want to scrape it off. This one is a maybe, so I'm going to plant it anyway. But basically the goal is you want to get roots. You want like a demonstration that it's still able to grow. If there's a little bit of mold, you can scrape it off. Sometimes it'll be fine, sometimes it won't be fine, but you don't want to start hacking into it. It's already a little piece. So that's just like the main thing I want you guys to take away from that. Here is a big carrot, or at least not a big carrot, but a big piece. So this one's got lots of roots on it. The bottom is not squishy. There's lots of growth on the very top. So this is a very good example, and this one's going to get planted right in the middle. And let's see. Other stuff that I've got for you guys. Got some leeks. All right, so this one's got good root growth, but it's a little bit squishy around here. It's firm in the center, but it's a little bit squishy around the bottom. So this one is a maybe. There is not a squishy part in the underneath in the center. So we're going to go ahead and plant this one. Let me move all this stuff over, because this one is not going to fit. 1 second while I adjust these. Okay. All right, so this leek is going right in the center of this pot, and I'm burying it up to where almost to where I cut it off. What other examples do I have? These are other carrots. I showed you guys carrots. Oh, let's see. Is this a good radish? Let's look at this radish. So this one, it's got green growth at the top, but some of the growth is looking sad. The bottom, no squishiness. The top is still hard. There's no roots. This one's a maybe, so we're going to plant it. And what else do I have for you guys? I've got spring onions, but these ones all look gross. All right, so spring onions, if you leave them in there too long, this one is starting to get squishy, but the bottom is still pretty firm. So I'm going to give this one a quick rinse with our peroxide and plant it. Now this is not a guarantee that all of these things will grow. They're not all going to grow. You're probably looking at a failure rate with these, I don't know, something around 2/3 to a half. So this is not a guarantee on anything, but for no extra money, with a little bit of soil and some fabric bags that I already had, I've planted spring onions, leeks, radishes, a couple carrots, parsnip, and bok choy that I will probably get at least a little bit of a harvest off of to add a little snip into my salad. So that's really, that's the goal right there. And you obviously want to keep these growing for as long as possible. I'm going to water them with a weak fertilizer solution. Got a little bit of liquid fertilizer in this container. So I'm going to water them with a weak fertilizer solution and put them in indirect sunlight and just watch them and see what happens. If they grow, cool. And if not, I've lost nothing because this was basically stuff that I would have put in my compost bin. So are there any questions about how this works? If you guys have seen those hack videos where they show everything all perfect and pretty and mold free, growing in water indefinitely, that's not how this works. That's not what this looks like. Obviously, I let some of this go a little bit longer so I could give you examples of when it looks bad. But and at any time, if you've got kitchen scraps growing, if they start to smell real bad, they're done. If they start to get moldy, if it's a little bit of mold and you can scrape it off, cool. If it's a lot of mold and the whole thing is moldy like this is done. This is my extreme example to show you guys. This was lettuce. This is not going to grow. This is not viable. This has not been viable for almost a week. But I saved it so I could show you guys an example of when it's bad. So are there any questions on identifying whether or not your kitchen scrap is viable to move from phase 2 to phase 3, where you plant it? You're going to be taking cuttings for them as they continue to grow. And then in the springtime, if they're still alive, you can put them outside and they will start to bolt. And then once they start to bolt, they'll set flower stalks, and then the flowers get pollinated. Then they'll give you seeds, and then you can plant more food. So that's kind of like, that's the second goal. The first goal is to get a little bit of fresh food, a little snip for your salads or whatever you're cooking. This is not going to give you a huge, massive harvest. This is just something that's low risk that you can start with. You'll learn how plants grow. You'll learn what things look like when they're growing well, what they look like when they're growing bad, what they look like as they're getting moldy, and you'll be able to identify what's a good plant, what's going to grow, what's going to make it, what's not going to make it. So by the time you get around to the springtime, you'll be a lot more confident in your garden outside or inside still if you don't have any space outside. This was fun. I'm glad this was fun. This is a little bit of a science experiment, but I also just wanted to kind of like demystify the kitchen scrap gardening thing a little bit, and just like those viral videos, that's not what it looks like. That's not how it works. You're not going to be able to grow anything indefinitely in just water. Your plants need to get nutrients. They prefer to get them from the soil. If you've got a good hydroponic setup, you can do it hydroponically, but not everything is going to grow indefinitely. And with like a plant, an annual plant, you're going to get 3 growths out of it at max. So these are not things that I'm going to be harvesting all winter from. I'm going to be letting them grow. I'm going to be letting them go to seed, mostly, except for I do have a bunch more carrots, so I'll probably eat some of the carrot greens because they're delicious. How many times can you use the lettuce stalk before it starts producing bitter leaves? 3 times is the most, and that's only if you've got something that was like, it was very fresh when you bought it and you cut it. This also works if you are growing lettuce in your own garden and you have to harvest the whole head. You can cut the bottom off and get it to grow. I've done that with lettuce that I grew in my garden, and then because the head was in a place that I needed that space, I cut the whole thing down instead of just taking off the outer leaves. So 3 times is the max, which is why I recommend my 3, 2, 1 method. My fingernails are filthy right now, but the first time you cut it off when you buy it, it'll grow. And then once you start getting leaves, that's the second growth, and then you can cut those off and you'll get 1 more growth at max. And that was if it's a fresh cutting from the start. If you bought something at the grocery store that looked sad in the store, it's probably been sitting there for a long time. And like the part of the plant that was alive has been slowly dying that whole time because it was away from the nutrients. So you need to like get the freshest thing you can find. Leave it only in the water long enough for it to get roots. Don't leave it in there for 2 weeks like I did so I can show you guys bad examples. But like as soon as it starts setting good roots, that's when you want to plant it. And that way you'll get your optimal harvest from it. But you're still probably looking at 2 growths at max. So if you want seeds from that plant, don't cut it down twice. Just cut it down once. Any other questions? Okay. I don't see any other questions. I will let you guys go for tonight, and I am going to clean up this mess and plant up anything else that's viable. But some of this stuff stinks. My science experiment has come to an end, and I am going to water this one because this one is fully planted. I will show you guys that. So this is just a little bit of, this is Bill's Perfect Fertilizer. I've shown you guys this in the class before. This is a liquid organic fertilizer. It is 611.5. And this is normally what I mix up in a spray bottle, and I use that for follicular feeding of my plants because I like to keep the soil as neutral as possible. But I'm just pouring a little bit on this, making sure that each one gets a little bit. But you don't want to, like I messed it up a little bit. You don't want to be watering the leaves. You just want to make sure that the plant and the roots get watered and see if it's still viable. Did I just cover that up? There was something here and I covered it. Oh yeah, right here. I covered it on accident. All right. Last call for questions while I recap this real quick. Okay, so adjust this one more time. To recap, once you select your kitchen scraps, that's phase 1. You want to pick something that's as fresh as possible, that's as close to harvest as possible. You want to make sure that it's firm and there's no soft spots on it. And then you want to save the bottom. Well, it's going to be the bottom on most things except for carrots. But you want to near where the roots were of the plant, as close as possible where the roots were. And you want to save about between the smaller end is going to be radishes. That's only going to be like a 1/4 inch, but those are going to be from the top. And then on the larger end, something like lettuce is going to be more like 3 inches. And you want to set the root side down. If it's something like a carrot or radish where you're taking off the top, then you're going to put like the flesh side down. And a lot of times, like on carrots or radishes, there could be a different color on the outside than the inside. So you just want to put like the fleshy side down because that's where the roots are going to grow. And then you want to give it between a week and 2 weeks. That's phase 2, while you're waiting to see if it's going to start some new growth from the top and roots from the bottom. And you want to make sure that you're changing the water at least every other day, particularly with spring onions, leeks, anything, or regular onions, anything in the allium family. The water's going to get scummy quick. So you want to make sure that you change the water every other day. And as soon as you see roots that are more than 1/8 of an inch, then you want to plant it. As long as if you're seeing growth at the top and no roots, let it go, stay in the water a little bit longer. If you have hard water or heavily chlorinated water, then you want to run your water through a pitcher filter. Something like a Brita or a Pure is totally fine, but you don't want like a lot of hardness in the water or a lot of chemicals. Then when you get to phase 3, you want to check to make sure the whole thing is still firm. If there's some soft spots, then just scrape them off. Do not cut it, and plant it root side down. And you want to plant it pretty much right up to the part where the new growth is coming out the top. So that's just a quick recap of the 3 phases of kitchen scrap gardening. A little bit of mold is okay. Just scrape it off and clean it with some peroxide and go ahead and plant it and just wait and see. And are there any other questions? Okay, I don't see any other questions. This went on a little bit longer than I was expecting, but I'm going to let you guys go for tonight. Bye.